This is Ericka So from Mrak Hall. It's been 5 days since the protest events of last Thursday night, where 52 arrests were made in this very building. In order to continue the fight against the 32% fee increase, protesters are gathering here once again at Mrak to discuss and coordinate a list of demands.
The decision to come together at Mrak Hall tonight in order to draft up a list of demands was made at Monday night's organizing meeting at the UC Davis Social Sciences building. Hundreds of students voiced their concerns and ideas on how the group could come together in an effective manner.
This isn't about debates between people, but just about sharing with the whole group.
In order to demonstrate their visibility to the administration, many against the tuition fee hikes encouraged everyone to study at Mrak throughout the week.
It's all of us who are in the building right now. Let's say that we stayed here until 7 p.m. Let's say we spent an extra 2 hours in this building doing what we're doing right now. Nothing more, nothing less. Having a conversation, chanting.
Large numbers of protesters began to assemble at Mrak starting at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Some supportive faculty members even led their entire classrooms to Mrak to show their concerns for the fee increases. During the assembly, participants discussed various ways to approach the issues surrounding the tuition hikes.
I'm kind of an outsider to all of this, and I've kind of made an observation on why I think this is not as effective as we can make it. I think it's not as effective because it's not very specific.
If all of us students aren't on the same page in terms of facts, in terms of numbers, in terms of actual information, then it really is just chanting.
This is our time to get educated on what's going on and how it's affecting our friends.
You'll know she's fighting for you when the fees go down.
Well, you know what? I'm not coming back to Davis next year because I can't afford college.
We really have no idea where the extra $2,000 that we're going to be paying next year is going.
Although the protesters originally planned to disperse at 5 p.m., discussions with the Assistant Chancellor, Gong, prolonged their stay inside Mrak.
Resolution that is reasonable, consistent, and fair. That's what we're trying to do.
I have a question about...
And we're asking you for suggestions. We're asking you to have a dialogue. We can certainly talk about the issues, as is suggested here, but we do have a dilemma here that we are trying to resolve in a reasonable and equitable way.
The dilemma is that if you make us leave, this situation is going to continue. We'll be back on Monday, we'll be back on Tuesday, and it will keep going.
But the fact of the matter is that this building has to close, okay? And we don't have the option of simply letting you stay here overnight.
There's been a lot of negotiation going on. There's been a lot of conversation going on. Janet and Laurie have given it their best shot. They're listening to you. You needed to leave here at 5 o'clock. You have not left at 5 o'clock. The building should be locked down. You are here illegally, and that will cause possibly arrest. I'm not promising you nothing. I'm just saying that could be the next step. So
You've noticed there's a lot of people in the room here right now. More people than on Thursday. Is the administration of UC Davis really ready to order the arrest of this many people in this room right now for the second time in 2 weeks, a mass arrest on this campus just because people want to peacefully assemble in a building after hours? Are you really going to do that tonight?
Now obviously I can't speak for everyone here, and they may shout me down. I hope they do. We would like to have a conversation about when we're going to leave. There's a lot of people here. It might be a complicated conversation. I think you can accept that. So, we will have the conversation beginning when the police leave campus.
I don't think that's much of a compromise, and I don't think that's very possible.
After a private discussion amongst themselves, administrators rejoined the protesters, presenting them with either the option to leave peacefully on their own account or to push the police back 100 yards from the perimeter of the building and continue a dialogue, as long as the time to vacate the building was established.
Option one, we can close the doors to the building, and you can be the ones to close the doors to the building. So the police can then pull back about 100 yards, okay? I can't get them to move off campus. We can then sit and talk about issues of substance, issues that are on your list. We can talk about putting together discussions tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday or whatever you want. We can do some tonight. In exchange for that, we need to have a time at which you are agreeable to vacating the building of your own free will.
Those who were outraged by the police force policy used during last Thursday's occupation considered neither of these options. Instead, they demanded that the administrators begin to address and answer their questions publicly.
Some kind of proof that you're actually advocating for us, because telling us that you're going to do something and walking out of this room has led to us being left alone here. We have no idea what you're doing when you're not in front of us, and if you're not going to put something down in writing or say in front of all this media that the administration is against what happened on Thursday and is requesting the charges dropped, then we can't believe you.
After hours of dialoguing with the Assistant Chancellor and the Chief of Police, demands and questions continued to be averted. Reaching a compromise proved to be a difficult process, especially with the anxiety over surrounding police forces.
It's 9:45 p.m. and with growing threats of police intervention, students have decided to block the entrances by sitting in the doorways.
At 10 till 10 p.m., Assistant Chancellor Gong approached demonstrators with a list of actions that she was willing and able to commit to. However, demonstrators felt that the Assistant Chancellor's list did not thoroughly address the important issues at hand.
We heard what you said, and we're not satisfied.
But if we get arrested tonight, what is the main thing that we want? What are we staying in here tonight for that they could do at this very, very second that we want right now that they're not doing?
One of the major issues that were strongly pushed through pertained to advocating not pressing charges against the Mrak 52 arrested on November 19th. After the Assistant Chancellor agreed to review the list of demands submitted by the protesters, a negotiation was finally underway. Amendments of the original demands went back and forth between administrators and demonstrators until both parties were content.
She's going upstairs and working on those right now. She said 10 to 10, she's going to come back down here with answers. But the deal would be, if she can deliver those two things tonight, would we leave tonight peacefully and give her a list to work on with the rest of our demands for the future?
Well, I think this meets most of what you have in mind. If you will agree to me that you will then do your part and agree to leave the building without incident.
Okay.
After hours of negotiations, 5 copies of the final written document of the compromise demands were brought down to the Mrak lobby and signed by the Assistant Chancellor at 11:11 p.m. The signing of this document relieved the tensions for the evening and concluded in a step forward in the movement against fee increases. It signified that negotiations were possible and proved a productive closing to these events just one day before the Thanksgiving holiday.
For now, the protesters have agreed to vacate the building peacefully in lieu of the administration taking initiative to start immediate negotiations. Although immediate negotiations were addressed this evening, the protesters wanted to emphasize that this is only the beginning of more negotiations to come. Reporting from Mrak Hall, this has been Ericka So for Aggie TV.